Ilia Topuria wants to be the GOAT of the sport. Like, obviously, anybody that's a fighter wants to be the GOAT of the sport. But this guy really, really wants to be the GOAT of the sport. He wants to be fast-tracked to be the GOAT of the sport. Not just the GOAT of the sport. He wants to be fast-tracked. And you know what? I'm not even mad at it. Look, before I get into breaking down how I think the fight is going to go, I'm going to give you a few details, okay? This is a clip of his coach talking in December, boys. This is back in December about Ilia Topuria's weight. I'm just going to play this for you.
Very harder every time we do it. He don't want to do this anymore, and that's why I want to go up to the next weight class. His normal weight is in that weight class. In him, Ilia fighting 61, and he's young, you know, and your body is changing. When you have 20, you have a body. When you have 25, you have another, and when you are 30, you have another, you know. Sometimes I see Ilia in 85 kilos, you know, and he needs to be 66. We do very big.
Can you believe how much weight this man walks around with? I don't believe Ilia Topuria walks around at 87 kilos, but it's okay. Look, I'm just gonna show you some weights over here. Look, this is back in UFC 98, and you see Ilia Topuria here in number 12. What do you see there? He got approved for 145. He weighed in at 144.5. And on the event weight, he was 167.7. Obviously, this is 2024, at the start of 2024. It's whatever. This was almost basically a year ago. 3 days ago was a year ago. Keep that in mind. Almost a year ago, okay? Now, this is, I'm just going to make sure you look at it. 167.2 on fight day. And now this is obviously UFC 311. This for some reason went viral for some reason, but Islam Makhachev right here, 154.5 on the weigh-in and 178 on event weight. That is absolutely insane, by the way. Absolutely insane. He gained 15%. 15%. Absolutely insane. Now, on fight day, these two, Islam Makhachev is going to be fighting around 180, and Ilia Topuria is going to be fighting around 170. So, Islam Makhachev is going to have a 10-pound advantage, basically, when they fight. Now, I'm going to look at the rankings, right? And Ilia Topuria is in a bit of a situation that, okay, keep in mind that Dana White said once Alexander Volkanovski and Diego Lopes throw a punch on that fight, the title is basically vacated. So he hasn't really said that the title is vacated officially, keeping that in mind, officially, but it should be happening, okay? Ilia Topuria cannot make the weight. That's the excuse that he said. I'm not even going to call it an excuse, because when Ilia Topuria says something, he really does mean it. Like, come on, he really, anything that he has said to this point, he has meant it. So if he can't make the weight, he can't make the weight. So he said he's going to leave. We didn't have official words from Topuria, but what Dana White said, it's looking like he's going to leave featherweight for forever. He just can't make the featherweight anymore. Now, that being said, it gets very, very interesting, because a lot of people, and I mean a lot of people, don't believe Islam Makhachev will be fighting Ilia Topuria next, or vice versa. People do not think Dana White is just gonna give Ilia Topuria the chance on a title shot, which is a little weird, because here says, this is from Ariel Hawani, Islam Makhachev versus Ilia Topuria planned for as early as June, boys. That's what, 4-5 months from now, which is absolutely insane. That's very, very fast to just go to fight Islam Makhachev. I'm not saying it's like impossible, but it's like, it is kind of fast. It came out of nowhere that he was going to vacate and all that stuff. We're still processing on what's happening. But let me go back here to the rankings. Arman Tsarukyan number 1, Charles Oliveira number 2, Justin Gaethje number 3, Dustin Poirier number 5, Max Holloway number 5. Now, he's gonna fight one of these 5 guys, okay? And maybe the champion. In my opinion, or not even my opinion, what I think is going to happen, he is going to get the Islam Makhachev fight. I really do think this can happen now, but we have to speculate because they haven't announced officially the fight against Islam Makhachev. I believe if he doesn't get the Islam Makhachev fight first, they will give him Charles Oliveira. And I believe that if he gets to choose on that top 5 ranked opponents, I mean, I guess he could choose Max Holloway, but that wouldn't be a fight the fans would want to see. And he's not the type of guy to go with rematches, as you guys saw with Volk. He could have easily just fought Volk and got another title defense, if we're being completely honest with ourselves. If you're a Volk fan, if you're not a Volk fan, the Volk fight would have been easier than coming up to lightweight and, fighting anybody else in lightweight. So let's just be honest here, okay? But yeah, he's not going to go for the Max Holloway fight. Dustin Poirier he said that he has a retirement fight. I don't think he's gonna freaking have a retirement fight against Ilia freaking Topuria. We all know Justin Gaethje got absolutely destroyed. Charles Oliveira and Arman Tsarukyan are the only 2 options, right? Now you might think Ilia Topuria will go for somebody against Arman Tsarukyan, right? And I guess that's the actual fight to make, because that will put Arman Tsarukyan right back in against the title shot, because Dana White is giving him the cold shoulder. He doesn't want to give him the title shot next because he pulled out obviously 24 hours before the fight. But I believe Charles Oliveira will fight Ilia Topuria if the Islam Makhachev versus Ilia Topuria fight doesn't if they don't make the Islam Makhachev and Ilia Topuria fight. I believe he should and will beat Charles Oliveira next, because Dana White really doesn't like Arman Tsarukyan right now. Now, I'm going to go into Islam Makhachev's little resume, little run, you know what I mean? As you guys know, right? It's not a secret anymore that Islam Makhachev doesn't think Ilia Topuria deserves. Hear me out. I'm basically saying what he has said. You can look it up if you want, but he doesn't think he deserves a title shot because he didn't run his division. He didn't like sweep his division. He only defended it one time, okay? One single time. He doesn't think he deserves it. He thinks he needs to fight one more time before he gets this fight. Now, I want to go back a little bit and talk about Islam Makhachev's little resume over here, okay? Renato Moicano, I'm not even gonna act like that fight happened, because look, I know on fight day everybody was like, what if Renato Moicano pulls it off and all this? He had 0% chance. I don't care if I'm like mathematically wrong. No. Everybody knew he had 0% chance of beating Islam Makhachev that fight. Now, the Dustin Poirier fight, don't get me wrong, he did outbox Dustin Poirier. But if he does that, if that's the game plan against Ilia Topuria, Islam Makhachev is going to have a very, very bad time fighting Ilia Topuria, which obviously I don't think that's going to be the game plan, because, each fighter is a different game plan. Obviously, I'm not that stupid, but I'm just saying, if he decides to be like, okay, I'm going to outbox you, no, don't do that. Alexander Volkanovski, out of all his defenses, his most recent fights, I don't want to go that far, you know what I'm the most recent fights. What are the hardest fights he has fought? Dustin Poirier and Alexander Volkanovski. Those are the two fights that are the hardest. Which one was the closest? The Alexander Volkanovski fight. Alexander Volkanovski is a small guy, small little guy. Now, I'm only saying that because he kind of struggles with little guys. I know he knocked him out on the rematch and all this, but come on, that man literally got off the couch. If you go see his fight day pictures, Volkanovski was literally fat until this day. And maybe for the rest, I'm pretty sure for the rest of his career, everyone's going to clown and use that meme that if someone pulls out, here comes Volkanovski. Everybody knows that meme, right? I'm pretty sure the meme is going to be used for the ends of time. But anyways, what I'm trying to say is that he did beat him. I'm not saying he didn't beat him, but it was a literally fat Volkanovski, okay? It was a literally fat Volkanovski. What I'm trying to say is Ilia Topuria is the same stature as Alexander Volkanovski, but he's just better in almost every way. And I will say Ilia Topuria is better than Volkanovski in every way that's most important. That's what I will say. That's what I will say. Ilia Topuria, I am a bit shocked that he moved from featherweight. I completely understand his weight, but I feel like this came out of nowhere. Like literally out of nowhere. I know his coach said back in December that he's struggling, that he walks around, what's 180, 87 pounds walking around weight. That's insane. That's absolutely insane. I don't really believe that. But if that's true, that's absolutely insane. Insane. Now, Max Holloway, he's obviously in the lightweight division right now. And a lot of people were scared because Max Holloway fans think he's going to go and hunt down Max Holloway. I don't think that's the case. This man just wants a title shot. That's literally all he wants. And he's taking one of the biggest risks I've seen ever. Literally the biggest risk I've ever seen ever. This is a bigger risk than Volkanovski coming in short notice, and I'm just going to say it. I'm just going to be I think this is a bigger risk than that. I really, really do, because think about it, right? He vacates the title, right? He vacates the title, fights Islam Makhachev. Let's say they give him the Islam Makhachev fight. They give it to him. Boom. They fight. Islam Makhachev beats him. Now what? Now what? Dana White, as of right now, 2025, right? As of right now, right? He absolutely loves Ilia Topuria. But at the end of the day, this is a business, okay? This is a business. This is one of the biggest risk-reward situations I've ever seen. If Ilia Topuria loses to Islam Makhachev, what is he going to do? Do you think he's going to go back down after he literally said that he can't make the weight? You know what's going to do? Do you know how bad that's going to be for his confidence? That he has to go back down forcibly because he knows he can't compete with the lightweight division because they're so much bigger. They're so much bigger, so much stronger. And that's why we have freaking weight divisions. And it's for a reason. Look, don't get me wrong. Ilia Topuria could spark Islam Makhachev out cold. We've seen it before and we can see it again. But there's levels to this. Obviously, there's levels to this. Do you really think Islam Makhachev will stand with Ilia Topuria? Do you really, really think that? Do you think Islam Makhachev is stupid enough after he said that Ilia Topuria doesn't deserve to be in there in the ring? Do you think he's going to just stand there and let him do what he does best on the feet? Really? Don't you remember that Renato Moicano fight? Do you remember when he slipped and people thought it was like a knock? He jabbed him and he fell down. It was a knock. No. After he did that, and he literally went for a takedown immediately. Renato Moicano was getting a little bit of momentum on the feet. Even though it was still a round one finish, he was still getting a little bit of momentum on the feet. And boom, taken down, Darce choke. Nothing. No chance. Ruthless. He does not forgive. He's not going to show mercy to Ilia Topuria at all. Ilia Topuria, I can't even be mad at him because I do want to see this fight. I really, really do. But this is a situation that I don't see Islam Makhachev losing on any way. Actually, I can't really say that 100% certain, but my heart, my mind, my mind tells me that Islam Makhachev is not going to give Ilia Topuria a chance on defeat. He's not. He's really, really not. If he has to fight a Mario Bautista fight style for 5 rounds, he will do that. But my heart tells me that Ilia Topuria could catch him. And that's the problem. Both of these fights, in my eyes, right? I only see one outcome. I see Islam Makhachev dominating Ilia Topuria on the ground and submitting him. Or I see Ilia Topuria knocking him out on the feet via TKO or just straight up cold. Okay, that's the only 2 options. But the problem with that is Islam Makhachev's side on him dominating, to me, it's more probable than Ilia Topuria knocking him out on the feet. I feel like Islam Makhachev can negate that. He really, really can. And after he fought, because you remember, guys, look who he fought. Dustin Poirier, he's a very, very good boxer. He stood there and outboxed him to prove a point. To literally prove a point. And don't get me wrong, I don't think he's going to do that against Ilia. And if he does, you know, that's another story. But I don't believe he's going to try to prove a point against Ilia Topuria, you know, little guy this. I don't think he's going to do that because he knows Ilia Topuria is way better on the feet than Dustin Poirier, in my opinion. Obviously. I can't really say obviously, but in my opinion, Ilia Topuria is better on the feet by a mile. Literally by a mile. But the problem with this is, Ilia Topuria, like, I know it's a joke when Islam Makhachev says it, right? But Ilia Topuria is a little guy. He really, really is. 5'7", that's probably like a boosted stat. All these are probably boosted stats, you know. Islam Makhachev is probably 5'9", and Ilia Topuria is probably 5'6", you know. These are just boosted stats. But I can't see Ilia Topuria out clinching him, out wrestling him. I can't see Ilia Topuria out boxing him on the feet, but that's about it. But I feel like Islam Makhachev's wrestling will just overwhelm Ilia Topuria's boxing, in my opinion. That's just me, man. I've seen Islam Makhachev dominate too many people to like doubt him on this. And Ilia Topuria, I've seen vicious knockouts. I've seen absolute domination against Josh Emmett. I've seen it all. But when you look at Islam Makhachev and be like, and you try to picture Ilia Topuria fighting him, it's like, how does he win other than like a punch? He has a puncher's chance, but we're not talking about Francis Ngannou here, okay? He might have like the power on the lower weight classes like Francis Ngannou, but Francis Ngannou fought on heavyweight. These people don't have good wrestling. They don't have good movements like the lower weight classes. That's when it becomes a problem. You can have all the power in the world in the lower weight classes, but if you're not a complete fighter, you're gonna have a very, very bad time. And that's what I think will happen if Islam Makhachev versus Ilia Topuria fight. I just feel like Islam Makhachev is gonna be a competitive fight, but I do not think Islam Makhachev is gonna give any openings on the feet. Like I said, this is a very early, super duper early. Even if it doesn't cut, if it doesn't pan out and the fight doesn't happen next, I do believe Islam Makhachev will just out wrestle him. He will not give Ilia Topuria anything on the feet. And like I said, if he has to fight a Mario Bautista fight, he absolutely will, which I don't think he will. He will obviously go for submissions to the ground, etc., etc. You know, we know who Islam Makhachev is already. I don't think Ilia Topuria has a very big chance, but don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong, boys. Ilia Topuria has a chance, but I don't think, in my opinion, Arman Tsarukyan has a better chance. Charles Oliveira has a better chance than Ilia Topuria. But Ilia Topuria has that equalizer, bro. His hands, the equalizer. But I don't think that's going to be the case if he does fight Islam Makhachev. Islam Makhachev is too well-rounded, too disciplined at this point of his career to be doing stupid mistakes on the feet against literally the best boxer in the lower weight class we've ever seen. So, yeah. Islam Makhachev by domination. As this fight is made official, and we know if it does happen, if it is next, I'm gonna be going into much more detail about these two, because I cannot wait for this. If I'm being completely honest, I am literally stoked for this fight. When this fight got announced at 12 a.m., I literally jumped out of my feet. I was about to go to sleep, and I looked at my phone. I was like, Dana White announced. When I saw that Ilia Topuria vacated the title, not my last video, but my last previous video, that doesn't even make sense. My second to last video, not this one, but my second to last, I guess, if that makes sense. I literally got up and made the news right after I saw that. Quite literally. That's why I didn't talk about a few more other fights and just put it up, the poster on the screen. But I'm just gonna leave it there. It's gonna be Islam Makhachev by domination. He's literally gonna smother him. He's not gonna give him a chance. I feel like Islam Makhachev is way stronger than Ilia Topuria. Way stronger. It's gonna be easy, brother. It's gonna be very, very easy, brother. Anyways, make sure you guys leave a like, hit that sub button so you don't miss any more MMA content. And with that being said, I'll see everyone very, very soon. Goodbye.